Hello. How is everybody? I found something that I did not know existed, and I want to react to it. Oh, God. Why does StreamYard do this to my camera? I should not look so blown out. Come on, camera. There, that's better. So yeah, I wanted to react to something that I have never seen before, didn't know existed. I'm just going to react to the trailer because I've got to figure out how to find this documentary. But trigger warning for heavy emotional stuff. I don't know exactly what they're going to show in the trailer, but if you ever watched the movie Kids or Gummo or anything like that, you kind of know what this director is about. I remember watching the movie Kids when I was in high school and just being insanely like tore up over it because, and like knowing that it was very loosely scripted. These people, most of these people were like actually just kids off the street who were already doing these things. And it launched a few careers. It launched Rosario Dawson's career, Chloe Sevigny, and what's his name? Fuck. Forgot his name. The guy who plays Telly. I can't think of his name right now, but he's not like super popular as an actor, but he's been in quite a few things. Hi, Nico. Yes, I'm going to react to this trailer. See if I can get it to work. And I have no idea if it's going to be too loud or not. So I'm just going to turn it down first to make sure. Let me actually put it on this screen over here so I can see it better. Yeah, I don't know if you have ever seen Kids. Okay.
There's a new film in some theaters around the country. This one is called Kids. It has a nice, innocent sound, but it's not about innocence. Far from it.
My name is Hamilton Chungo Harris. I was the one rolling up the blunt in the film. I grew up in
Wow.
The city was not fun back then.
It was like a jungle in my house.
All of us from our crew have like crazy background and crazy stories.
The skateboard is something that you get on and you can ride away from what was going on at home.
I really hope they have some of the other actors.
We were just together like 24/7.
So I know some died.
My first impressions of Larry when I first saw him around taking photos was just like, yo, who's grandpa?
You just saw this group of like crazy skateboarding kids. The energy's crazy.
He's in taxi.
You saw dollar signs.
Harold's like, yo, this is my friend Harmony. He's going to NYU Film School. Larry was going to be making a movie, and we were going to be in it.
A lot of us came from nothing to, I was looking at this like, oh, I'm going to be somebody now. This is my way out.
When I went to the casting, the character was my name. Huh?
He was casting for the girls' parts. We got rape and misogyny. Yay. And then all of these other people just started coming in from the outside.
I didn't really look at the big picture.
The movie's huge, and the response to it was insane.
It's very scary.
The movie paints a tragic picture of mindless, aimless, violent, and destructive behavior.
Is this real?
You know you're on the cover of Newsweek? People just started saying things to me like, you're the girl who was in that movie.
It brought an element that was way over our heads.
Now we're going to parties where like, Leonardo DiCaprio are hanging out.
There's people that are like, oh, I'll sell you the world. I'll sell you dreams.
We were stars,
Wow.
but we had nothing.
Wow, that was Harvey
I could
Weinstein.
hear that he was lonely.
Like he was in just a tremendous amount of pain.
Aw.
I thought all of this stuff was supposed to make our lives better and enrich us. Somebody's gonna get hurt from this.
Yeah, I think at least two of the
I wish it never
actors
happened.
died. One was from an overdose. Wow. Apparently it came out. Oh, what? They have a thing on Justin Pierce? Yeah, Gummo was the other one. That was such a fucked up movie. I couldn't even, like, I'll never watch that movie again because it was so fucked up. But yeah, I'm wondering if any of you guys ever actually saw Kids. It has a pretty fantastic soundtrack, especially Folk Implosion is on it, and I really liked Folk Implosion. I'm actually curious. So it came out in 2022. I cannot figure out like where to stream it. Where can I watch Kids documentary? Oh, it might be on Roku. So I might be able to watch that on Roku. Hey, Heather. But let me show you the trailer for Kids in case you're curious. But it's not for the faint of heart. I just remember being incredibly freaked out by this movie in terms of like the social aspect of it. Oh, why is this not working? Why? Now my stuff isn't working. Play? No, I need you to play. Thank you. Oh, great. Sorry, stupid ads, because YouTube does not like ad blocker anymore. Oh, this isn't old trailer. Is this like the first trailer? 1995, yeah. Yes. Why does that sound like Elliott Smith? I don't think it is, but it sounds like Elliott Smith. Oh, let me make this bigger. Yes, very intense. And I don't want to talk about what the super intense part is because that spoils like the whole premise of the movie. And it's like, right. Well, the plot of the movie is Chloe's story, really. And then like there's the twist at the end. I don't think I've ever actually seen the trailer for this. Yeah, it was super dark. But I am one to kind of dive into intense, especially psychological, intense sociological movies, especially like horror. As much as I have anxiety, you'd think that I'd want to stay away from things like that. I do know friends who have severe anxiety like me, and they absolutely like Disney movies. That's it. Like they cannot at all with horror or anything like too real or anything intense. I have always kind of been a weird person at like pushing my boundaries myself, as long as I'm in control of pushing my boundaries. And then like I also really like to watch things that will make me think, things that are very artsy, things that I can gather my own thoughts, feelings about, that isn't just like spoon feeding me a story, if that makes sense. Like there's nothing wrong with those. Like I can enjoy a Marvel movie just like the next person, but they're spoon feeding you everything. It's sugar, it's saccharin, it's not anything you really have to think heavily on. Nothing that pushes your boundaries or anything like that. Sinead, hi, welcome in. I did not see you. Yes. So I'm not entire. I don't think that Telly in the movie knew he was HIV positive. And that was the thing. I don't think he was intentionally spreading it, but it shows you like what happens. Like it can happen in like one time. Like you get these two girls, one has lots of sex, she ends up with no STDs. One literally has sex once and she has AIDS. And the whole movie is her trying to find Telly to talk to him about it. So yeah, it's a very heavy thing. It can spark lots of discussions. It's weird because it's like, I don't know if I would like watching it as an adult, because for me, it would be weird watching basically minors going through all this and like simulating stuff that I don't really like to watch. But if you are curious, I tell people to push their boundaries as well with their watching. Like, there's lots of movies that I will suggest to people that are good to just watch once. And I think that Kids is one of them. Again, it also has a really good soundtrack. I really love Folk Implosion. I don't know what else Larry Clark did other than Gummo. And actually, I don't know. I don't even want to show you the trailer of Gummo because it's a really gross movie. But I cannot remember what else Larry Clark did. Oh my gosh. Larry Clark. What else did you do, Larry Clark? Oh, weird. There's apparently Vice TV maybe put out something like 6 years ago. What? Oh, weird. Okay, so I think they have the entire Kids movie, even uncut, up on YouTube. Oh, Larry Clark also did Another Day in Paradise. Poughkeepsie Tapes. What? He was on Transformers 3. Who gave Larry Clark Transformers 3? The Informant, The Laundromat, In My Sleep. So there's a bunch that I haven't seen, but his two biggest ones are Kids and Gummo. Oh, interesting. I want to pop into this real fast. Why is my pad not working? I'm not using my mouse, my regular mouse. I'm trying to use my laptop. Okay, let me see if I want to see this real fast.
Or it felt like everybody you knew was in the film. So it wasn't like you weren't talking to too many people outside of that world, even after the film. You know, we kind of all went back to doing just what we were doing before it. And so, you know, it's only until later that you kind of notice, like I would get a lot of, I went back to work in a skateboard shop and I would get a lot of like threatening calls and weird things like this, but
I would get a lot of tearful hugs on the street.
Yeah, you just, you know. But
I get quoted my lines a lot, which is a bit awkward depending on where you are.
Oh,
we're
God.
at Disneyland.
I get a lot when I find
Please lower your
really
voice.
disturbing. People are like, "Don't worry, Jenny, it's me, Casper."
What? Oh God, what? That's kind of morbid.
So the one thing I think, the one thing I noticed that is a little weird is how many kids I run into to this day that say, "Oh, that's the movie I moved to New York because of." And you're like, well, it's kind of like a cautionary tale. So that's interesting. Like, I mean, kids still talk about, like, these are young kids who have their own scenes and maybe style-wise or other ways.
Oh, thank you.
It still resonates with.
I'm guessing it's supposed to be Cult of One.
Like,
here to send support.
it's-
Shrink Incredibly Stored. Thank you.
To me, it's strange that it's still.
I'm just reacting to a couple of things about the movie
that's great.
Kids.
But I wish I could see it with fresh eyes again. But once you've kind of done it, and once it's weird. I want to be shocked, like, by seeing it the first time.
I was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rosaria?
I hadn't seen it in real. I stopped. I used to watch it every year, and then I stopped.
What?
Just because
Why
it was
would
my
you
first
watch
film,
that
and it was
every
such a
year?
startling thing to watch it that next year, and I wasn't friends with everybody, so I didn't have that connection. I was really stay at home, and Harold lived down the block, and he used to date my best friends. His brother used to date my best friend Ron, who's here, and it was still really far away from me. So when I came back, it was still really revelatory. So I'd watch it every year and kind of like, because I started acting after that, and it was like, okay, like, let me just kind of see, this is a really great film, and every experience I had would bring me back to that, how special it was. But then when Harold died, and when Justin had killed himself and Harold died, I stopped watching it. I couldn't watch it. So I haven't seen it in a really, really
Yeah. Those were really
to see them
sad,
and to see
tragic
all of it
things.
Is it's
I
pretty
think Justin is so
startling.
dynamic in it.
I had
he's the
such a
most
crush
real
on
and the
him.
most alive, I think,
used
of
to
all
have
the
such a crush on him.
performances.
He was brilliant. He really. So does Harold. Like
They
just
go
really-
through
I
Justin
especially think about
Pierce's
Harold a lot, 'cause I
kind of
think he
thing
was so
in
talented,
another
so free,
documentary.
and just such a remarkable.
The girl who
being.
played Punky Brewster, she was friends with
Box of
him.
Donuts on the L train. We were gonna get married. I'm still mad at him about that.
Yeah, you have to remember that, like, they were all just kids at that park. That really was just it.
Aw. Wow. Yeah, sometimes like I want to revisit that movie and rewatch it, but I know the story, so I don't really feel like I need to. Just like there's some movies that I have stayed with me for really forever, and I don't feel the need to revisit them because they were good on that one watch and they're a bit too disturbing for me to take on a second time. One of the movies, like, again, I watch a lot of disturbing horror movies just to push my boundaries and see what is out there. But one of my favorite ones is by, oh God, Yorgos, I cannot pronounce his last name, Yorgos something. It's called Dogtooth. I think it's a really amazing story, horror-wise, but it is a very disturbing one. He also did Poor Things and Lobster, which are both really good. And I was very shocked that he got any nominations for Poor Things, let alone Oscars for it, because of knowing how, like, this director is like likes to do these really disturbing stories and very surreal. Like, I don't remember the last time I've seen a surreal movie, like a really art house, weird movie that is controversial, like up for a nomination on like the Oscars or Emmys or whatever. But yeah. Hi guys. I have no plans today other than doing some laundry, tidying my house a bit, and because I'm going to be moving this year, I'm going to have to start actually like going through my stuff and getting rid of things and packing and because I'm going to be gone for either a month and a half or 2 months during the summer. So it'll be like a good downtime of like me not doing anything in the house. My daughter's a massive horror fan, spent many a night hiding behind my iPad. My fault. I got her into them. Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I tend to like controversial movies, things that get people talking. Like, I want to know why people have problems with certain things. Like, is it just a weird moral panic, or is there something to really be mad about or upset about? I think a lot of old horror movies went through that. I know that Texas Chainsaw Massacre went through that. Also, Toby Hooper. He's kind of a deranged man in himself anyway, for the way that he treated his cast members. If anybody has seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and don't know this, Toby Hooper basically wanted it to be as authentic as possible. And so he basically kind of drove his castmate or the cast mad. Nobody was allowed to take a shower. They had to like basically camp where they were at. There was no trailers or anything like that. He wanted them to stay dirty. Didn't want to have to really use too much makeup. And it kind of drove them a little bit insane. So that's nice. I like to know like weird little tidbits like that. Like what did you put your cast through? How did you do this movie? What was practical? What's not? That's why I like a lot of the old horror movies, because there's something to be really proud of when you can do a lot of things practically versus just giving up and doing CGI. And I'm not saying like everybody gives up when they're doing CGI. I just think there's some people who are, even the photography world, I'll have like people be like I'll be the photographer and I'll be like, oh, can we move this? Because I don't want it in the photo. Let's move this around. And other people are like, well, can we just Photoshop that out? I'd rather do as much as I can on the set and give myself less work when I'm editing. I prefer the what is that word? Banality of evil style of horror, fictional horror that's too much gore and pathos isn't my thing. I don't really, it depends on what kind of gore it is for me. Like, if it's like a Japanese horror movie, a lot of times those are fucking ridiculous with their blood because it's not realistic at all. Was it Tokyo Gore Police? That was really, really insane. Let me see. I think it was Tokyo Gore Police. Tokyo Gore Police. Yeah. Now this movie, this is very gory, but in a very different way. Like, it's not like torture porn, like Hostel or something like that. Hi, Bippy, come in my lap. Yes, thank you. I grew up with Freddy Krueger when you had to lie about my age to be able to rent the VHS. Funny. Let me show you this. If nobody, because I've watched a lot of horror movies in my life, like a lot. And not just in this country, all the countries, especially Asian. Because like I said, Asian horror is a very like different beast. Thing. But this movie is insane. It's not like super scary or anything. It's just crazy. I want to start having Discord movie nights because we would not be able to get away with doing like watching something live, probably on YouTube. This might even be too much for YouTube. Oops. Sorry, algorithm. fucking love it. I love it so much. Oh, the chance. Oh yeah, the titty milk. I forgot about the titty milk. The titty acid, I guess. Like, it's super gory, like I said, but it's just like they just spray blood. Oh my god. I'm sorry if nobody can handle this. I'm so sorry. I apologize so much for subjecting you to my weirdness that I like. Or maybe I'm not sorry. I do quite enjoy sometimes showing people things and watching their reaction. Oh my god. Are they really showing that much in this trailer? I feel like trailers give away way too much these days. But the good thing about this is you don't know what the fuck the story is. You don't know what the fuck is going on. I can't even. I can't. It's so hilarious. It's so hilarious. I'll show you the trailer for one of my very favorite movies. Called Let the Right One In. I read the book. I think it's Swedish. I read the book and watched the movie and then also watched the American version. The American version sucks. Don't even bother. But it's about a vampire. And it's one of my favorite vampire stories. And there's not that much gore in it. And the vampire and this little boy meet and they like become friends.
Är du vampyr? Hade du tyckt om mig ändå?
It's always been the special effects and how they do them, how they do them fantastic. Yeah, that's why I really like a lot of the old like zombie films, like the George Romero films. I love anything that like Tom Savini is attached to because he was great at like coming up with practical effects. Like him and his team just went in on it and like nobody knew exactly the right kind of makeup, the right things to do. They just did them and until something looked right or made them happy. Yeah. So that's Let the Right One In. I really like that one. I suggest that one to people. Let me take that off screen. So anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted to do for right now. I saw that documentary for kids came out in 2022. Now I'm like on the hunt for figuring out where to watch it at. And I've got to go do my skincare. My hair, I just got out of the shower. So my hair is very wet. I'm going to go do some chores. I might come back on later today. Have no idea. But it depends on how I feel after I do a bunch of laundry. And I have to vacuum. And I have to make another maintenance request. I don't know if you guys know this. I went around telling people just privately. But I had my hot water tank heater busted and flooded our apartment. And the last few days has just been like blowing that really heavy duty fan on it to get it to dry and get some of the mildew smell out of here. Oh, it smells so bad. Smells like dirty water and mildew. It's gross. Because I bet like the brown that I see, I bet that's like dirt and rust from the tank. Oh, thank you. You too. Yeah, so that happened. And then I had to go through the stuff that was in the closet. I lost a lot of my old art, like my high school art, some of my college art. But I'm the dumb one who didn't put it in something like plastic or something to protect them. They've just always been sitting in like one of my art bags. So I had to go through all that, let the ones that I could save dry out, and throw away things that were waterlogged that we would not be able to save, and cleaned out the closet. So that's all done. Now I need to clean up the living room more because the cats were freaked out that we had to move so much stuff in there. So I got to do that. Got to also do cat litter. But I got to go. I have so many things to do. I'm sitting here listening off now thinking of all the things I have to do. And I have to run and grab some weed because I am out of weed. Oh, no. But anyway, if anybody wants to watch Kids, I'm willing to watch it again. We can do it through my Discord, but it's not something that I think YouTube would like me doing. Especially because of how like heavy of content it is. I just don't want to do it on YouTube. Sometimes I can get away with that on Twitch, but I'd rather do that in a Discord server. So if anybody wants to do that, just let me know. Otherwise, stay safe, stay hydrated, and I love y'all. And kiss a cat for me if you see one, or a dog, or any animal. I don't care. Give all the animals my love. Catch you soon, my friend. Not really my kind of film. Reminds me too much of things I have seen. Yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit more about it later, DJ, if you want. It is, like I said, a very intense movie. And I watched it when I was a teenager because it came out in 95. So I watched it when it came out. Yeah. But there are other movies that are pretty taboo, like NC-17 movies that I think are amazing, but they can't be shown in theaters because of NC-17 and stuff. Like, I don't know if you ever watched Hedwig and the Angry Inch, but John Mitchell Cameron, I can never remember. Mitchell John Cameron. He has 3 names, and I know there's in some order. But anyway, he wrote and directed and starred in Hedwig and the Angry Inch because it wasn't a movie. It was a stage play first, and then he adapted from that. And then he made this movie called Short Bus that talks about, basically like follows a bunch of different couples and people that are having a hard time with their sexuality, with orgasming, with, you know, just sex in general. And they get, they find a sex club and they find people who kind of like help them liberate themselves. And yeah, unfortunately that had to get us NC-17, but I think that movie is a pretty good movie. It might make you really horny. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you soon.